Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gods of Jade and Shadow read-through. This is video 2 of 3. We're going to be covering pages 100 through 200, starting with chapter 11. So chapter 11, in this chapter, Moreno-Garcia opens up the world building of Xibalba and the brothers Vicube, Kami, and Hun Kami. The important part to note in all of this is that Vicube Kami can't see the future as clearly because of Cassiopeia's involvement. Like, that human interaction gives the whole thing more variables than usual. She creates just random factors that he can't account for. You know, I spent a little time Googling Mayan lore and Xibalba as well, and all of these things are based off of real myths and real Mayan lore, so that was interesting. Chapter 12, they arrive in Mexico City, and they must summon ghosts to tell them where and who has the next body part. To summon the ghosts, they cut Cassiopeia's hair, and this is really bothersome to her. It really bothers her because it is the only part of herself that she actually had pride in, like, that she actually liked. So, when the ghosts came, they actually wanted to, like, devour her, but Hun Kami stopped them. Afterwards, she was feeling a bit used, a bit weak, because he is taking her life for granted, and that he's taking her life force. But he is obviously falling for Cassiopeia, and he's becoming more human. Chapter 13, there is a line about illusion that was really interesting, about it wearing off. And that makes me think that Hun Kami is creating an illusion for Cassiopeia. And maybe this book won't end as well as I think it will. Cassiopeia is breaking a lot of assumptions because she's meeting people that, you know, dress differently, look differently. So all the things that she was told when she was younger about how to dress and how to be a proper woman is being shattered. And she needs to kind of, you know, reinvent herself as well. So she gets a new haircut because, you know, she messed up her hair. You know, she always associated these things with being kind of like a loose woman, and so now she's like rethinking everything. At the end of this chapter, Martin shows up. So we get some more information about Martin and Cassiopeia's relationship in chapter 14. Martin dropped out of school, and that is when his grandfather said to Martin, said to Cassiopeia, "Oh, I wish you were my grandson." And that really made Martin upset, so he told Cassiopeia that she was illegitimate, and that is when Cassiopeia struck him in anger. Current day, he is trying to lure her home by offering her a piece of Vicube Kami's wealth, but she basically has had more kindness with Hun Kami in the last 2 days than she ever had with her family and Martin and her grandfather, which is interesting to me because I don't really think Hun Kami is really treating her all that great. I think that she is just projecting what she desires onto him, so I'm not sure if that's really as great as what she thinks. So, in chapter 15, they go and get Hun Kami's finger back from a seductress. She's a spirit name, Xtabay, so we're going to call her Xtabay. I'm not sure if that's right. I'm really bad at all these names, as you can see. So Hun Kami almost falls for her seduction, but Cassiopeia is able to snap him out of it because he is starting to have feelings for Cassiopeia. Earlier in the chapter, Cassiopeia was wondering if maybe gods could have like relationships with humans that are good relationships, and maybe that they can fall in love. So both individuals are basically falling for each other, so we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to end up good, to be honest. In 16, Martin gets a visit by Vicube Kami. He is to be his champion against Cassiopeia. So Annabelle Xibalba is the person that casted the sorcery on the bones and everything in the trap Hun Kami. He is going to teach Martin how to navigate the shadow roads and Baja, there's a place called Tierra Blanca, and that's where the prison is that Vucub Kami created for Hun Kame. So Martin's going to get like some inside tips about this world and how maybe he can use that against Cassiopeia. In 17, Vucub Kame visits Extabe, and she tells him what transpired there. They are now going to someone named Zhao Shevo. Vucub Kame kills Extabe's parrot and sees a possible future of Hun Kame on the throne, so he's pretty upset. I have to say, these viewpoints of Vucub Kame and Martin aren't the greatest. It kind of slows down the narrative a little bit. So in chapter 18, there's a lot of blushing and flirting in this chapter while on a train ride between Hun Kame and Cassiopeia. The important thing that we learned during this chapter is that Vucub Kame wants to connect the underworld with the middle world, also known as our world, and cause havoc, have people like give sacrifices to him, and basically kill a bunch of normal people, which is, not cool. In chapter 19, Cassiopeia and Hun Kame come to El Paso. There they ask a witch where to find Zui Shivo. Cassiopeia must give her, the witch, 7 drops of blood in order to make the deal. At this point in the book, I'm feeling like the story is kind of walling a little bit. The last few chapters with Hun Kame and Cassiopeia have felt very similar. It's, oh, does he like me? Oh, let's go to another questing thing to find something. And this kind of happens a lot with me when it comes to these quest-like books where you have to go to one quest to another to collect a certain amount of things and come together with them. And after a while, it just kind of feels the same at each point. So I'm hoping that there will be something soon that will like mix things up a little bit, but we'll see. In chapter 20, Cassiopeia has a dream about being in Zabalba, and she sees Vucub Kame. She is starting to get pretty weak at this point because Hun Kame is like taking all of her strength, and they decide to rest for the day. At this point, the sexual tension between the two of them is like ramping up, and at this point, I just want them to kind of be like, hey, where do you think this is going? Just kind of communicate. But of course, they won't. And yeah. So I'm about at page 200. I have about 130 pages left. I liked it a lot more at the beginning. At this point, I still like it a lot, but it's not as interesting just because each chapter is kind of repeating what the previous chapter has done, and I just want things to be a little bit more different, but it's still pretty good, and I hope it gets better. I think maybe this is just the middle of the book dip that a lot of books have. Alright, so thanks for watching this one. I will see you in the last video where I cover pages 200 to 334. Let me know what you thought about this part of the book in the comments below, and like and subscribe. Thanks.